My access card blinked red. I swiped it again. Still red. It was Monday morning, 8:47 a.m., and the glass lobby of our logistics company was packed with people rushing to their desks. The security guard looked uncomfortable, his hand moving toward his radio. Daniel. I turned. Mark stepped out of the elevator with the HR director beside him. My manager wore a fake surprise look that didn't match his eyes at all. Can you come with us? But we didn't go anywhere. On the security desk sat a cardboard box, already packed with my stuff. My nameplate, the coffee mug my daughter gave me. 12 years of work, reduced to a box that once held printer paper. We're moving in a different direction, the HR director said, reading from a script she'd probably used 100 times. Restructuring. I'm sure you understand. I didn't understand, but I nodded anyway. My co-workers suddenly became very interested in their phones and the elevator buttons. People I'd worked beside for over a decade couldn't even look at me. I picked up the box and headed for the door. Behind me, Mark's voice carried from the elevator. Finally, dead weight gone. I heard him clearly. I didn't turn around. I just kept walking, storing those words away for later. 3 months earlier, everything had been different. Mark had just been promoted to operations director. Younger than me, confident, full of fashionable phrases like digital transformation and innovative solutions. I was asked to train him on our routing system, the one I built from scratch and maintained for 12 years. This looks really complicated, he said, flipping through my documentation. Can't we simplify it? It handles 40,000 shipments a day across 18 states. I told him, complex problems need complex solutions. He smiled. I didn't understand that smile at the time. Within weeks, Mark started presenting my quarterly reports as his ideas. He referred to my system as legacy technology in meetings. He suggested to the CEO that the company needed fresh thinking. Then, on a Friday afternoon, he asked me to write down every detail about how the system worked. Just knowledge transfer, he said. I spent the entire weekend doing exactly that. Sitting in my car after being fired, I finally understood. Mark had taken everything he thought he needed. I was never the loud type. For 12 years, I showed up early and left late. I answered weekend calls about crashed servers without complaint. When a competitor's software failed, I rebuilt our entire shipping platform in 3 weeks, saving the company $3 million in 1 quarter. My performance reviews always said the same thing. Solid worker. Reliable. Could speak up more in meetings. Speaking up. Corporate language for playing games. Claiming credit, making noise, narrating your own importance. I never learned how to do that. I just built systems that worked quietly in the background until someone decided they could run them without understanding them. The HR meeting took exactly 7 minutes. Your work has been valued, the director said, sliding papers across the table. But we're restructuring the technology department. Your position is being eliminated. What's replacing my role? I asked. We're moving toward third-party vendors. Translation. Mark had convinced him he could run my system with cheaper contractors. Does Mark know how to maintain everything? I asked. She hesitated. Mark has been briefed on the transition. Briefed, not trained. I signed the severance papers. 2 weeks of pay for every year I'd worked. 12 years reduced to a number. As I stood up to leave, she added quietly, "You should have been more visible, Daniel. Leadership needs to see results." They'd seen 12 years of results. They just hadn't seen me. I walked out without another word. I didn't make a scene. No angry emails. No LinkedIn posts about new chapters. No warnings to anyone about what was coming. I stopped by my desk, backed up my personal files, and left my documentation exactly as it was, accurate, detailed, and completely useless without me there to explain it. Then I walked through the lobby one last time and sat in my car. For 12 years, I had been the safety net beneath everything. Now, there was no net at all. The first failure happened 9 days later. An overnight process didn't run. Addresses weren't validated. 1,200 shipments were sent to the wrong locations. It cost the company $40,000 in a single day. Mark blamed the outside vendor. By week 3, the weather tracking system failed. Drivers were routed straight into storms. Delays piled up. Customers started complaining. Mark hired consultants, expensive ones. They talked his language. They produced reports filled with diagrams and buzzwords. But nothing improved. Every fix created 2 new problems. By the second month, the platform was unraveling. Random crashes, slower processing, errors no one could explain. The board demanded answers. In a meeting I wasn't there to hear, someone finally asked the obvious question. Didn't Daniel build this entire system? Mark went pale. Only then did the real problem become clear. My system had never been simple. It looked simple, clean dashboards, easy controls, but underneath were thousands of interdependent decisions I'd built over 12 years. Mark didn't know that disabling one automatic function would break address validation. He didn't know the weather tracking module required manual recalibration every 6 months. He didn't know the overnight batch process still ran under my personal credentials, a temporary fix from 4 years earlier that was never formalized. He didn't know which shortcuts were safe and which ones would quietly destroy everything. The documentation told what to do. It never explained why. That knowledge lived only in my head. 3 days later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. "We need your expertise as a consultant," the message said. "Please call us back as soon as possible." It was the board. I waited a full day before calling back. The conference room went silent when I walked in. Mark sat at the far end of the table, smaller than I remembered. The CEO and board members watched me with attention they'd never given me before. "Thanks for coming," the CEO said. "We're having critical issues with the routing platform." "I've noticed," I said calmly. I reviewed their reports for 15 minutes and identified every problem. Shortcuts Mark had added, safeguards he disabled, fixes that treated symptoms instead of causes. "Can you fix it?" the CFO asked. "Yes." "How long?" 6 weeks. "Remote. Full access. Final authority. No interference." "What's your rate?" I named a number 5 times my old salary. Nobody blinked. "Done." As the meeting ended, Mark caught up with me in the hallway. "You could have told me how to keep it running," he said. I turned slowly. "I did tell you," I said. "You just weren't listening." Then I walked out. 6 weeks later, the platform ran perfectly again. They offered me my job back. I declined. Some things aren't about money. They're about knowing your worth and making sure others learn it too. Power doesn't shout. It waits until it's needed again.